If you've watched my videos before, you will know I'm a massive video game collector, but that is not all. I also have a pretty strong interest in both modern and retro toy collecting, especially if they cross over into video games. So today we're going to head out into our local city and go retro and modern toy hunting.
Pick up! Building a gangster! Road trips! Night hunting!
Hello again folks, and welcome back to another video. And that's right, you heard me correctly. This week we are going toy hunting rather than game hunting. That's because I have a slight affinity for vintage and even modern toys. I just think they look really cool dotted around a games room, and I love to add them to the collection. So today I'm going to take you along for the ride. Of course, most of the time on this channel we are talking about video games, but I do also talk about modern and retro toys. So if that's your kind of thing, hit the like button and remember to subscribe. So I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, and I want you folks along for the ride. Now, let's get toy hunting. Here we go then, and the best way to entice me into any store is to have Jurassic World Dominion toys in the window. You know I'm going to be heading straight in, and one of the first things I found was this really nice box full of Pops. And you know, I'm a massive fan of Star Wars. I think the Bad Batch will get better, probably with a second season, but hands up if anyone ever owned an actual Turbo Man. We all know about the movie, but have you actually ever played with or owned the actual figure? Let me know in the comments down below. The entertainer didn't actually have as good a selection of Jurassic World toys as I expected. Like, there was loads in the window, and it just seemed like they were hiding the best ones near the top of the shelf. Which, you know, if you're shorter, is a little bit of a disadvantage, but in my eyes, I think this is probably my favourite T-Rex figure since the original one from the original Jurassic Park film. But let me know what yours is. Next up, we were off to Game, and this one is hidden inside another department store, so it's a bit of a pain to find, but it's normally worth seeking out as they do sometimes have some pretty good deals in here, such as this Star Wars Bounty Hunters box set. So it has 2 figures in there. The only thing is, I like to display my figures, so something like that, you can't really see what's inside it. But yeah, they had some pretty good Star Wars things. I absolutely love these retro collection figures. I think they're absolutely fantastic. I think they're one of the best Star Wars figures they've done for a lot of years. I think I actually prefer these to the Black Series figures, but they are quite expensive. Here's something that I've never seen before: Star Wars Resistance figures. I think this is a Star Wars series which a lot of people overlooked, and I would definitely recommend going and checking it out for something a little bit different. Pound for pound, I reckon one of the best video game franchise figure collections is that of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. These figures are so incredibly detailed and just look exactly like they do in the game. Definitely a set of figures I really want to add to my collection over time, but they kind of vary in price, so it's good to pick up cheap. Very much like the Star Wars Retro collection, I really love these like Marvel Legends figures. They're just such simple ones, but it's just for the display piece, they look so good. And talking of display pieces, like, who would have thought, if you'd said 10 years ago, in 2022, we would have Sonic the Hedgehog Lego, I wouldn't believe you. Like, who would have imagined that these 2 Sonic films would have made such Sonic fever again? But this is definitely a Lego set I want to add to my collection at some point. If you have not seen it yet, I would highly recommend Masters of the Universe Revelations. It is a absolutely solid cartoon, and it is rated 12, so it is a little bit more adult. It's not exactly super violent, but it really takes Masters of the Universe and kind of brings it back to today. It's really well done, and also it has Mark Hamill as the voice of Skeletor, and you know, if that doesn't tell you, I don't know what will. A very small selection of Jurassic World Dominion figures here, but because they're a little bit more open, it was a good opportunity to try some of these out. And yeah, the roars of these dinosaurs are actually incredibly loud. I just find it ironic that the new dinosaur they've added in Jurassic World Dominion, this big one with the slashing claws, has one of the most difficult names of any dinosaur ever in the Jurassic franchise. Whoever thought that was a good idea for the kids, you are mean. One thing that I'm really enjoying at the moment is the revival of some of these classic tabletop war games. Like Hero Quest was such a classic game I used to play in my childhood. Like about the 10 to 16 year old, I used to play so many like tabletop RPG games, and yeah, this was always one of my favourite. I did not realise until I saw this in person how big this box is. It's definitely on my list to pick up at some point. A game I didn't ever play, but I'm now kind of intrigued by is Talisman. So let me know in the comments down below if you ever played this one. Again, it is a very large boxed game, but one thing that really surprised me about this was the amount of expansions for this one game. They did not hold back. I don't know if this is a remake or a brand new game. I'm pretty sure it's a remake, but like, they've literally gone and done every single expansion as well, which is super cool. When we talk about window displays in shops, I think HMV may well be the MVP. I have literally never seen a window stacked with so many things I would like. Like, look at that Mandalorian Retro Collection box set, the amount of amazing Star Wars stuff, the Black Series helmets. That Mandalorian helmet is one of the best things I've ever seen. And then the other side, we have tons of amazing Marvel stuff. And there is some big ticket items in this store. They are really pulling out all the big guns to drag people in. And yeah, just everywhere you look in this window, there is amazing, amazing stuff. So I was super pumped to head straight into the store and see what else was in there. The first thing that really took me aback was how many graphic novels they had in this one store. It was two sides of an entire aisle. It was absolutely stacked. There was so many graphic novel kind of collections, and hiding within there was this amazing Fallout 4 replica ship. And yeah, this thing was super cool. This was pretty big. I'm not really sure where I display this. Like, my Fallout case is pretty full, but yeah, very cool item nonetheless. Yeah, definitely very interested in this, but space. Speaking of video game related toys, and this Arkham set is absolutely incredible. Like, I think this is probably one of my favourite Batman things they ever did. I just think they nailed Batman, Harley Quinn and the Joker so perfectly in this. Love this set. Speaking of figures, where do you even start when you have this many figures? But it was very nice to see the DC and the Marvel figures coexisting nicely together on the shelves. But there was a huge selection here. They were all super cool. There's always time to look at more Jurassic Park merchandise. This light is super cool, but I really did like the look of this t-shirt, just because it looked like the original VHS case from back in the day. So yeah, pretty cool t-shirt, but mainly I just prefer the packaging of this one. Super cool. So look really nice up on the shelf, kind of reminiscent of that old VHS. Another thing which is not what you think it is when you first see it was these Star Wars cereal boxes. But first of all, the amount of Grogu merch is getting a little bit sickening now. I know it's a cool character, but let's kind of dial it back a little bit, folks. But these cereal boxes are awesome. I wish these had been cereal. There are actually t-shirts in the boxes. The only thing is, I would not want to unbox these. I think the artwork is so cool on these. I would not want to take the t-shirt out of the box. Would you look at all of these amazing Star Wars figures? It just kind of annoys me that they've mixed in the retro with the vintage figures, but I just love these retro figures so much. Like, yes, the vintage ones may be more detailed, but I just love the fact the retro ones kind of look like the old school figures that they had in the 70s. No, I was not around for the original Star Wars figures. I was more the kind of mid-90s ones, but they're still super cool. If you watch one of my more recent game hunting videos, you would have seen I picked up some pretty amazing Mortal Kombat figures, and that's kind of given me the itch to pick up a few more. I just kind of want to make sure these are in scale to the ones I already have, otherwise it's going to look a bit weird. But yeah, I definitely want to set up more of a little kind of Mortal Kombat diorama. It's something I love to do with my figures, and something I'd really like to do with these Witcher figures. Like, this one is huge. Like, this is a very large figure. Obviously, it is a large character from The Witcher, but yeah, super duper cool. These McFarlane Witcher figures are amazing. And speaking of The Witcher, I was pretty amazed that next door in Mankind, they had a large selection of The Witcher figures. Out of the box, these look even cooler. Mankind also had a pretty good selection of lighting for your games room. Yes, some of these are tacky, but some of these are super cool, especially that Pac-Man one and that Star Wars light. Yeah, I just love having these dotted around the games room. Far and away, I think one of the coolest collectibles on the shelves in a minute are these Black Series items. They are so cool. But yeah, Mankind actually surprised me. They had some really nice gaming statues, figures, and of course those helmets. So yeah, if you've got a store local to you, I definitely recommend going and checking it out. This next one is a bit of a weird one. Let me know in the comments down below, can anyone remember when they used to make Aliens figures? Yes, I know this is kind of a remake of a classic figure line, but I can't believe these used to be on the shelves next to like Jurassic Park toys in the early 90s. For a film that was rated 18 or 15, to be like marketed towards kids was a bit weird. As you know by now, I am a massive fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this Shredder and Krang figure is incredible. This is the exact style of turtles I like. I like the animated style. These are super cool. I like the fact they come in big open display boxes. I like the fact they kind of stay true to the cartoons. And yeah, they are super cool. But without a doubt, one of the greatest films of the 90s was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And these figures, again, are absolutely perfect. They just catch the figures so well. Speaking of turtles, and our only actual retro find of the entire trip was these 2 Lone Turtles figures in a charity shop. They seemed a little bit pricey for me, and they're not my favourite design of turtles, but it was cool to see some retro goodness. So here we are at our final stop of the day, the television and movie store, just outside the Forum in the centre of Norwich. And if you have never been here before, you are in for a treat. Straight away, you are met with a veritable wall of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World merchandise. This is how you get me into a store. And then straight on to another thing I love, Star Wars. Yes, it is mainly Black Series figures, but there's again a really good selection of stuff here. And you know, this is something that's kind of annoys me, is when board games change their components or change their rules. I used to play X-Wing, then they changed it to the second version and want you to buy everything all over again, you know, or just buy like adaptation packs. I want to buy a game once and play it. It was a pleasant surprise to see these D&D miniatures in here, especially as they're painted, as, if you do not know, I suck at painting miniatures. I think I have just too big a hands and not enough patience to do it. Every time I see Cyberpunk figures, I am trying to find the one that I am missing. I already have Johnny Silverhand and I already have the male V, but I can never seem to find in the wild the Takemura figure. It still is eluding me. Continuing on the video game character figures, we have a small selection. So we have some Mortal Kombat, some Gears of War, and even some Titanfall 2, which I've never seen before. I do like these Gears of War figures, but, you know, just not my favourite characters. But yeah, that Titanfall 2 one was very cool to see. Here finally then we have probably the be-all and end-all of statues or figures, the Hot Toys selection. These are absolutely incredible, absolutely beautiful, but do have a very high price tag, but they are breathtaking. I think it was very ironic today that today's toy hunt ended up in the car park of the ex-Toys R Us store. It is a depressing sight to see, and I think it's kind of a sign of the times as the market is slowly moving more and more online. Places like this, are their days numbered? Let me know in the comments down below. We are then back in the games room, and you know, I do want to end this video on a somber note. No, we didn't pick up any toys per se on this trip today, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, first and foremost, I am a game collector. You know, it takes a lot of space and also finances to add as many games as I want to add into my collection. And here within, I think, lays one of the other problems with modern toy collecting. Things are getting more expensive. Obviously, the cost of living is at a true high at the moment, and it's just paramount to places like Toys R Us going out of business that the high street is getting more competitive. I think as more retailers move online, the high street is going to struggle. And, you know, it's a difficult market, and as the cost of living gets harder, people have less money to put into toys, which then leads them online. So, on the talk of online, I didn't want to finish this without showing you folks anything, so I want to show you something related to this video that I brought online. Before today, I had just one of these Star Wars retro figures, and now I have the entire first season of the figures for The Mandalorian, one of my favourite Star Wars things of all time, and blatantly the best of the most recent series they've been doing on Disney+. And I managed to get these an absolute steal, just over £7 per figure. And one of these was the last one they had in stock on the website. So I just love these so much. I think they're so cool. I love the artwork on these. I like the fact they just look like the original 70s figures. As I said though, some of these are a little bit bent, but you know, I like how these look worn on the sides. And I managed to get every single figure from this series. Like, so you see, we have the child here, and they're just so cool. I love these so much. This is the one that was especially kind of tempted me and made me order it straight away. This was their last one of the Cara Dune figure. So I wanted to get the whole set or nothing, and I managed to get every single one, as I said, for just over £7. Remember, we saw these in store for £17, £13, somewhere around there. So yeah, and this is the only one that got slightly damaged. The plastic has come a little bit loose, but you know, these are just going to go into my personal collection. These are not things that I'm keeping because I think they'll raise tons and tons of money or anything. The thing is, with Star Wars collectibles these days, they're a lot more common. People know to collect their toys and keep them in. So for me, it's just awesome to have this entire set for one of my favourite Star Wars things of all time, The Mandalorian. And to add them for just £7 a figure, it's just brilliant. There we have it then, a little bit different this week, toy hunting in opposed to game hunting. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see more toy hunting videos. They will not be all the time, trust me. I will be doing them once in a blue moon or just if I see cool things while out hunting. Let me know in the comments down below, do you think online shopping is going to one day just totally and utterly overtake the high street? I know prices are cheaper online, but I just like seeing sometimes the products in their physical form. As always, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See y'all soon.